If you're losing track of leads, it's not you, it's your system. If your buyers are in your notes app, if your listings are in your email, if your follow ups are just floating around in your brain, of course things are going to feel scattered. So, today I'm going to show you exactly how to track your buyers and your listings step by step inside of Trello using the same workflow we build for our clients. So I'm going to be walking you through two simple boards, our buyer tracker template and our listing management board. So these are going to show you exactly how to organize your leads, how to track where your clients are in the process, and how to never forget a follow-up again. So first we're going to look at our buyer tracker board. Inside of Trello, this buyer tracker is your pipeline. So essentially, you'll be able to look and see where are new leads, what's approved, what's active, what's pre-approval, who's touring homes, who's under contract, who's closed. So that way you're not losing anything and everything is moving forward. So we love this board. It's super helpful. Essentially, each buyer gets one card. So we have our hot leads right here with our template, and then you'll be able to see the pipeline. You'll be able to see buyer clients, under contract, closed, and then you have any buyer resources here. So let's talk about what goes inside of your buyer template here. This is where everything lives so you're not digging through text and emails. Details section, this is really important. This is how our template is set up. We have the buyer name, the questionnaire details, essentially everything, so that way if somebody calls and says, hey, I want to buy a house, you can create a template card from them and you can go ahead and start working through the questions. So some details you can have in your description is like the name, contact info, budget, pre-approval status, timeline. I really like to know point of contact, or like where did they come from, so that way you have those details as well, so you can really build the description list to fit how you best handle new leads and onboarding. Now let's talk about the checklist. This is super helpful here. You can customize this checklist however you run your business. So it could look like, if you have an onboarding checklist, maybe that can be the initial call. Maybe if you need to like do CMAs or any of those details, send the listings. And then maybe you have your active buyer list. That's like schedule the showings, follow up after tours, adjust the search. And then once you're under contract, that's a different list. So you need the inspections, the appraisal, the final walkthrough, so on and so on. So this turns into a repeatable system. So you can see we have this particular template broken down between like new buyer, so that initial intake, offers and negotiation, buyer under contract, buyer close, and beyond. So that's how this one is built out, but you can absolutely customize your templates so that way it fits how you run your business. And then essentially all we do is we create a card, and maybe we have buyer Smith, create a card. Now he's a new lead, so we can add them here. You can even add in different labels and stuff. So maybe this is he's looking for a new construction. So we'll know he's a new construction, start working through the list, add in all the contact details. You can literally add in all of your notes and things here. Like if you're having a phone call and want to add those notes, it's super helpful. You also have your comments. So if you want to make any comments, you can add those as well. And then essentially you'll just start working through the list, adding notes. You can attach documents. You can do so much with these cards, and then we'll bring him through the pipeline. So now he's an active buyer client, maybe he's under contract, and this way you can see how your pipeline will be built. You'll be able to see how many hot leads do you have, how many buyer clients do you have, how many clients under contract do you have, and how many closed do you have. And the close is a really good reference list, because you can go back and reference what documents were attached there, what comments you made, what like address, due diligence, like all of those details can live on the card. It's so helpful. So this turns the process into a repeatable system. It is so helpful. It saves you so much time, and that way you're not reinventing the wheel every time you get a new client. Now let's move on to the listing management board. It is very similar to the buyer tracker board. This is just for listing. So this is essentially your listing pipeline with this board here. So this might look like your categories can be incoming listings, prepping for the market, active, under contract, sold. These particular ones are set up with hot leads, new listings, under contract, and sold. So that's how you can see your pipeline there. So it's super helpful to, again, have that pipeline to see how many new listings do you have, how many are under contract, how many closings that have, and that way you can plan accordingly. So let's take a look at the listing, the seller template here, similar to the buyer tracker one. So again, inside of this description, you can add all of the details that you need for your clients. You can add the address, seller info, timeline, the price, any notes. You have your seller questions. So if somebody calls you, you can go ahead and start working through those questions and answering them there. It is so helpful. And again, we have the checklist. Again, we're not going to reinvent a wheel. We're going to have the same checklist each time. You're doing the same thing each time. So inside those checklists, that can look like maybe pre-listing, active listings, under contract, and inside of those maybe you have schedule the photography, do the staging, write the listing copy, get it live on the MLS, social posts, open house. Once you're under contract, you have the offer acceptance and the inspection and the closing prep. There's so much. That's why it's super helpful to have these checklists built out. So we have the new seller, listing prep, marketing and listing the launch is really important, showings and offers, under contract, and closing and beyond. Again, you can make these specific to how you run your business. And again, we're going to create a card. Maybe this is 123 Main Street. We're going to create a card. Now we have a hot lead. And again, we're going to open up the details. We're going to start adding in the like names, the contact information, et cetera, and start working through the list. And then that way you can bring them through the pipeline. So now we can see 123 Main Street is a new listing, under contract, and beyond. And that way, again, you can see how many new listings do you have, how many under contract, how many closed. It is really, really helpful to have that system set up. So this is the shift. Instead of like, where's my clients at? Did I follow up? What's next? You can simply open up your Trello board and instantly see where every deal stands, what needs to happen next, what you've already done. It's just so helpful. So now you have a buyer board for your pipeline, a listing board for your properties, cards that hold all the communication and all the details, checklists that guide you through the process. Literally nothing is floating in your head and nothing can fall through the cracks. So these are so helpful. If you want these exact boards already built for you, with the checklist, the workflows, the templates ready to go, you can grab those in the link below. You can get the buyer and the listing management boards together on top of a few other real estate boards. Or if you want us to customize these boards for your business, you can apply to work with the agency and we can customize these boards to fit your business. So thank you so much. Bye.